Hi everybody, welcome to a Facebook Live with Jeannie. I am Jeannie Nielsen, the card lady, and I'm very excited to be here with you today. I'll give you a second to catch up with me. It's going to be hard for you to catch up with me today. I have been running, not running. I only have about 3,500 steps, so not that kind of running, but running to get things done. I got 45 cards mailed today. So exciting. I started them Saturday night. Not even kidding. I had help of one of my class ladies came for class today, and afterwards she stayed for almost 2 hours and helped me. So I had a great time visiting with her, and she helped me immensely. I'm part of a group. We're called the Bundle Buddies, and we send out cards with every new catalog featuring a different bundle. My bundle was traditional labels, so I am actually going to flip down in just a second and show you a non-traditional card using traditional labels. It is a fancy fold card, but I think you're going to love it. It's really easy to do, especially the way I did it, I think. It's probably the way everybody says to do it. I figured it out on my own. You'll see in a second. But anyway, let's flip down so that you can see what I am making today. And please, please, please join me. I am doing a craft along on Saturday, September 29th. Nope, Monday, September 29th, I'm doing a craft along. And you are all welcome to sign up yet. I'm going to put the link for that in the comments. It's using the traditional labels and the traditional Christmas suite. And you're going to love the cards. I am not even going to show you a sneak peek of the cards. I might show you a sneak peek of some of the cards that I made for my swap, though, using traditional labels. And I think that's going to be a separate class. So I hope you all purchase traditional labels, the bundle of dies and stamps. You're going to love them. And you can pair them with just about any other stamp set. Okay, I'm going to flip down to show you the card. So here we go. Thank you for joining me today. Let me know where you're joining me from. Boy, I've got a messy desk, don't I? I think I have everything ready for you. We will see. Okay, so my card today is using traditional labels. Yes, this is traditional labels. This is the die and this is the stamp. If you looked at this card though, would you say it's a Christmas card? I'm thinking you wouldn't. So I'm going to show you how to make this fancy fold card. It's super easy. First, we are going to start with a piece of Secret C cardstock. Let me get all of my supplies out here. I did a little bit of prep work because I don't want to emboss and shake the table. But we're going to start with a 5.5 by 8.5 inch piece of Secret C. You're going to need a second piece of Secret C, but we'll get to that in just a second. So 5.5 by 8.5, and you are going to need your paper trimmer. So once you have your card already scored, and I don't use my paper trimmer for scoring, I only use it for cutting. I love my scoreboard. It's so easy to use. I can read everything, and the lines, of course, are very nice and straight. So anyway, okay, so I've already scored. Mountain fold goes in the middle, remember. You always have the bump. It's going to be counterintuitive. I know you think the bump goes on the outside, but you're going to break the fibers if you do that. Put it on the inside of the card, just like that, and then you've got a nice smooth edge, just like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is with my paper trimmer, I am going to put my card, the point of the top score line is going to be up here, and then my point down in the bottom right corner. So top left corner of your card, bottom right corner, line them up in the track here. If you line it up in the track, it's going to be a nice straight cut for you. So we're going to go just like that. And ta-da, we have a piece of paper here. You could use this as scrap, but I am going to show you how to use it to decorate your card. I know you guys are thinking, I haven't even seen the card that much, so let me show you again. So this is the card, and you'll see that I've already embossed this with the Distressed Brick 3D folder. So let me show you what I did. I just put away my paper trimmer. That was way too soon. We're not done with the paper trimmer yet. Okay, what I need to do now is, because I'm going to layer this on top of my card, I'm not going to do exactly the same size. I like to have that about 1/8 of an inch border on all 4 sides. So let me show you how I'm going to get that. I am going to take my paper trimmer again, and you see these lines to the right of your trimmer rail line. I don't know what you want to call it. All of a sudden, my mind has lost it. But anyway, what I'm going to do is to the right of this line, this groove, I am going to put my long side of my triangle. I'm going to line it up right there on the line. Okay, and what I'm going to do is just trim that off. And here we have our excess. You can get rid of that now. I don't think you're going to find anything to use that for. Maybe a quilting card. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is emboss it. So see how I have it layered? It's a little bit hard to see because it's Secret C on top of Secret C. But let me show you what I did, because I've already cheated and I've gone ahead and done it because like I said, I didn't want to emboss online. So here's my folder, and what I did was I put it in here. I lined up this so that it looks almost like a right triangle. I have it lined up with the bottom. There's a printed line on your folder, and that shows you what is straight. So as long as that's in there and straight, and then you just run that through with your bottom platform and your gray plate. And ta-da! Through the magic of television, Genie television, you have this embossed piece. So here we go here. And what I'm going to do is now on my front, I'm going to glue that on. So I have my green glue here, my favorite thing. Love my green glue. Just put a thin couple of lines on the back. You don't have to overdo it. I think that's why people don't like the green glue, because they tend to overdo. Don't do that. Okay, so here we have that, just like that. Ta-da! You could also cut a piece of DSP, but then you'd probably have to do 4 by 5 1/4. I would say, if you're going to use DSP on this piece instead, do a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of DSP. And the reason I know that is because this looks like a regularly layered card layer, my first layer that I always use. So 4 by 5 1/4, and then you will cut it right to left. If you use a pattern that is non-directional, you can do this for multiple cards. If it's directional, you're only going to be able to use one side of the card. So make sure you choose the right direction so that the long way is portrait mode, and make sure that you emboss it correctly or layer it on your card here correctly. Okay, I'm going to put this away for just a second. No, I'm not. The next thing I want to do is put this layer inside, and this is way too big. Let me get my paper trimmer here, because it must have been in excess. I want 4 by 5 1/4. Remember I told you I like that size of layers. So 4 by 5 1/4, and I am going to use this as my back. And I can do that because that's not going to be the inside of my card. I'd want to use a light layer if I'm going to write something, but we're going to add more layers and make this an even more interesting card. So here, I'm just adding my green glue to the back of my DSP. And now, once you know how to make this card, you can substitute it for all occasions and any kind of card. So there we go. Ta-da for that part. Okay, let's do the next part now. We are going to take a layer, and this is going to be a mini card on the front. It is 3 inches by 8 inches, and I will need to bring in my scoring tool, my scoreboard, to score it in half at 4 inches. So let me just do that very quickly. 3 inches by 8 inches, score it at 4 inches, directly in half. And then what am I going to do? I am now going to add a layer of DSP on the front again. So I'm going to go and layer this, which is going to be a 1/4 inch less. And since my whole thing is 8 inches by 3 inches, it's going to be 2 3/4 inches by 3 3/4 inches. To the score line is 4 inches, okay? Hope that didn't get too confusing for you. And let's attach that to our card front. On the inside, we are going to use our traditional label stamp in a minute, but first I'm going to attach my ribbon. And I found a fun way of attaching ribbon when I went to Celine's retreat a couple of weekends ago. I learned how to use tear and tape, and what I'm going to do is put a piece of tear and tape right here across the front of my card. And then, let me talk about this a little bit. So I'm going to use my Misty Blue ribbon, my Misty Moonlight and Silver ribbon. I love this ribbon. It's fancy, but it's not. You can dress it up, dress it down, just like jeans. This is what I wanted to talk to you about. I keep my ribbon organized and not unrolling by using this ribbon clip. And my team member, Shirley, used a 3D printer and designed these ribbon clips. She worked very hard at it, and she's sold it at our breast cancer events that I've done with Celine, and she sold it to other people, and it does a really good job. You clip it on the side here, and it keeps your ribbon from unrolling. So if anybody wants Shirley's name or a way to purchase these ribbon clips, I will provide that in the comments too. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Let me put that ribbon clip away before I forget it. The nice thing about this ribbon is that it is two-sided, meaning each side is just as beautiful as the other. And that's really hard because we have our red satin ribbon right now, and that ribbon is not two-sided. So you have to be very careful when you're tying your bows that that everything ends up on the right side. So what I'm doing is I'm going to layer my stuff, and this goes around to the inside of the card. And what I could probably do if I wanted to is tuck a gift card in there maybe, or anything. But anyway, what I'm going to do is layer that around just like that, and back to the front. And I put the first part of the ribbon halfway on the tear and tape, and this other piece is the other half, if that makes any sense. So I've completely covered the tear and tape, so it's not going to be sticky. And I don't even need to completely cover it if I have you have to make sure that your ribbon is, the seams that meet in the middle are going to be covered up by your label. Let me grab a scissor because I don't think I have my paper snips handy. What I'm going to do is just trim this ribbon right here, just like this. And isn't that a handy way of attaching your ribbon? Nobody sees you. Don't have to do it in the back. You want a nice, neat look. It makes it look almost professional. Okay, the next thing I have to do is stamp a label. And I die cut my label. Let's talk about traditional labels. So traditional labels is the stamp set, all kinds of things. 'Tis the season. You could say merry and bright, season's greetings, sending, whatever. By doing the just for you, I felt like it made it non-traditional. It's not going to limit me to Christmas. I can use it for winter, anything that I want. I can use it for even a thinking of you card if I wanted to. So that's what I like about this stamp set. The to and from, you could use it for birthday gifts as well as Christmas gifts. The just for you, though, it is definitely something that you can use for more than just one holiday. And on the inside, I said sending love and joy, which you could do. It doesn't have to be love and joy at Christmas. It could be love and joy any time of the year. Happy, whatever, you could say birthday with another stamp. But so I die cut my label. So besides the stamps, we've got all these labels that you can use. And mine, of course, need to be on a magnet sheet. They're going all over the place. This fun banner label fits a few of the stamps here. Sending love and joy and season's greetings both would fit. You'd have to work a little bit harder to put in like the merry wishes. You'd have to combine the stamps and line them up. But the sending love and joy and the season's greetings both fit very nicely without any work. This is the stamp that I chose, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about the stamp. It actually, I almost wonder if it's meant to be. I'm going to put this back in here now that I've done it. You can see that it's 2 pieces. I don't know if it's meant that you could thread ribbon through it, maybe. That would be hard because there's a top and a bottom. If it was directly across from each other, I would definitely thread ribbon through there, but I don't know exactly what they're thinking. But let me show you what I did to make sure it wasn't going to come apart. So we're going to stamp our sentiment. Let me pull in my stamping mat since I've got my photopolymer stamps right here. I'm going to stamp with Secret C because my card base is Secret C, so I'm kind of staying to that theme. I am going to stamp Just For You. So this one is pretty easy to line up. I don't think I lined it up with the block, but I'm just going to stamp that right there. Ta-da! And then what I'm going to do is use my dimensionals to hold this thing together because I really don't want it to make it look like it's going to fall apart, right? I don't know what they're thinking here, but I really want it to stay together. So I'm going to take my dimensionals and I'm going to layer them right on the edges so it kind of keeps those 2 sides together just like that. Now that's not rocket science. I'm sure you've all figured that out by now, but I wanted to show you that this is what I do. Let me get rid of my dimensional backs. I found them in my driveway, so they're either on me or they're on my customers when they're leaving class. I have no idea, but have you found your dimensional backs in weird places? Probably the weirdest place was my dog's nose, but I have here. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking because it's not good when I talk. I'm going to just layer. I'm going to wait a second. You know what I'm going to do? I forgot about this piece. This piece is part of the Peaceful Garden Suite. It's the dies that go to Peaceful Season. And I thought, since the paper is Peaceful Garden, I thought I could use this. The thing about the traditional label stamp set is that it doesn't have any dies or greenery, so you can combine it with absolutely any other set that you want. I'm going to just add this to the card front, and I could easily, if I wanted to, have put it with adhesive sheet on the back, but I found that it's really not that hard to glue, just adding a little dot of glue to a couple of these leaves here, just like that, maybe to the stem. And what I'm going to do is flip it over just like that. I like to use my glue bottom. It probably makes a mess of it, but I never use that side, so it doesn't matter. I use that to kind of tamp it down. Okay, now I can layer this right over the front of it, just like that. Ta-da. Okay, the next thing I need to do is just stamp my little greeting for the inside. And sending love and joy seemed to work. I could say sending get well wishes. I could say sending thoughts and prayers. I could say whatever I want on the inside, but I'm sticking to the stamp set and we are sending love and joy. See, I even got a lot of ink just there, and all I'm doing is tapping. Can you imagine what this stamp would look like if you smushed that into your ink pad? So be very gentle. If you get the ink like I do all around, make sure you're not rocking your stamp just up and down. There you go. That's all you need to do. I got to clean it because I did make a big mess of that stamp. Okay. Let's finish the card because this is how quick this card is once you've got the pieces. The DSP is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. So is my inside basic white piece, 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And I'm going to just put it here. When I said, let's see, did I have, I think I have, let's see if I have, I do, I have a Dunkin' Donuts card. I don't know if I would be, trusting to just layer it under the ribbon, but you certainly could and add a glue dot behind it or something just to make it look cute. So let's see. I'm going to put this on the inside. let's see how this is going to work. I have this Dunkin' Donuts card. This is left over from Joan. She gave it to me for my birthday, my very, very important birthday a couple of months ago. I added the money and I kept the card. What I'm going to do is just for the fun of it, just to show you that this can be done, I'm just going to add a glue dot to the bottom. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to slide it under, center it, put our glue dot, and ta-da, it's not going to go anywhere because of my glue dot. Isn't that ingenious? I just came up with this now, but I really like that. Ingenious. That's kind of clever too, isn't it? Only kidding. Sorry, that was bad. Whenever somebody else says that to me, I say that was bad. You know, the hygiene, and they get a big kick out of that. That's bad. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just glue this right here, and you could use tear and tape if you wanted to make sure it's nice and secure, but the green glue is going to do just fine. Seal Plus would probably also do just fine. We're going to do it like this. We're going to center it on the inside. As long as you're centered, you are going to be okay when you close your flap here. So I'm going to open that up. Ta-da! Close it. Ta-da! And there we go. The last thing that I want to do, just a clever little thing to do, is, oh boy, I had them here. Oh, I do have them right here. I have my In Color Gems, and I think that the cloud cover is one of the colors here. So I am not going to use my Take Your Pick tool because it's on the table from when I made my 45 cards today. I'm going to use this tiny little cloud cover gem and hopefully put it right over to Dot My J, just like that. Isn't that cute? I like to do it for the eyes for Christmas, the eyes for happy birthday. Just a fun little accent. It doesn't need a whole lot because I've already got my sparkle in my ribbon and in my glimmer paper. This glimmer paper is also part of Peaceful Garden, Peaceful Season. I think the suite is called Peaceful Garden. Besides the Peaceful Garden paper, there's also glimmer paper, which is supposed to be Secret Sea, kind of a cloud cover, which I think looks more green. And then there's a blue that's probably closest to Blueberry Bushel. Because you've stuck with me for so long, I want to show you one more thing. Speaking of this glimmer paper, my other card that I made, and if you're on my email list, you'll see this card tomorrow in my email. I have here the online exclusive. Oh, I should show you the stamp set. I have no idea where the dies are. Maybe the dies are in here. They might be in here. This stamp set is called Snowflake Kisses. We're talking about the glimmer paper for 30 more seconds. I promise you're almost done. I love this stamp set. It's so cute. I wanted to say if kisses were snowflakes, I'd send you a blizzard when I was making my cards for the 9 people today. But then I decided that probably meant I had to cut out a bunch of snowflakes, and I really didn't want to do that. So I instead said sending warm hugs. So I made this card, and this uses the pine paper, which I can't remember what the exact name is, but this is the pine paper. This is what I was talking about. I think it's supposed to be cloud cover, but I pick out green from this. And I decided that it matched the soft sea foam very nicely. I pulled soft sea foam out of the paper and used that as my my layer right here. Of course, I should be using the Shaded Spruce and Gold ribbon, but of course I forgot to buy that. So I'm using my Shaded Spruce and Soft Sea Foam 2-sided ribbon. And here's your card. And here's just a little quick accent on the inside. Just a little strip of paper just to decorate it. But you're going to want to put this glimmer paper on your list too, is what I'm saying. Okay, let me flip back to say goodbye to you. Oh, thanks, Stephanie. I'm going to respond to all of your cards. Yes, look at me. I look a mess. I forgot to comb my hair before I went live. I'm so excited to see you. If you haven't signed up for my craft along, you'll want to do that today. I'm actually going to keep that open until midnight tomorrow night because I forgot to send anything out. But make sure you signed up for my craft along using traditional labels. And I'm going to show you another stamp set using another card class using traditional labels. This card is one of them. And we will see you very, very soon. Thank you so much for joining me. I love you guys. I really do. Bye.